5 reasons why you suck at street photography.
Yeah. Listen.
Alright, seriously you guys, not all of you guys suck at street photography, but a lot of you guys could use some help, as could I. So let's start a conversation. What's going on YouTube? My name is Quintavius Oliver. If you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button, like this video, and I'd love to keep this conversation going with you guys. We're going to shift our focus today from gear to technique. We're going to talk about the reasons why I think you suck at street photography and some of the things that really helped me gain some traction and some lessons I had to learn as a photographer before I started saying that I'm a street photographer or anything like that. And let me start by saying this. I am by no means an expert in any field. However, I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And this is just an opinion. If you don't like what I'm saying, leave a comment below. Let me know what I can do better. But also, if you're going to leave that comment below, put your social media handle down there. Let me see your website. If you're going to complain about me not knowing what I'm talking about, show me that you know what you're talking about, because I would love to learn from you. And I mean that in all seriousness. I'm not going to say anything that I'm not willing to do for myself. With that said, let's jump right into this. Before I get started, shout out to Photo Dom for this ill film sweatshirt. Really appreciate you, bro. If you're in New York, definitely stop by his shop and check him out. I'll leave a link in the description to his website, also to another video that we did while I was up in New York about street photography. So there's some opinions there that I share that might differ from how I'm feeling now, a little over a year later, but we'll get into that. So the very first reason why I think you suck at street photography and how you can get better is you're not close enough. And we talked about this in my last video about the 21mm super angulon and why I love getting close with that lens and that super wide angle. But if your pictures aren't good enough, you're just not close enough. And that goes for everyone who is using zoom lenses in street photography to those of you who have 60 megapixel sensors or 100 megapixel sensors, and you're using that as an excuse to just crop in post. Listen, if you see somebody across the street and they've got an interesting hat on, or there's some cool light, but you're too lazy or too afraid to use your 2 feet and walk across and get that picture, I'm sorry, but it's not street photography. It shows that you're lazy. It shows that you're afraid. And I can't stand that stuff. I'm so sick of seeing photographs passed off as street photography and it's really just the back of someone's head or someone on a cell phone because there was a sliver of light going across the screen. It's just not street photography. It's lazy. It looks like you're timid. And if that's what you're calling street photography, stay home. I mean, it sucks. And I'm tired of seeing it. Now, again, this is just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. But I like to be inspired. Whenever I'm scrolling social media or if I'm looking through a magazine or what have you, I want to see photographs that make me want to go out here and make more photographs and not just a half-assed effort on the photographer's part. And that brings me to my second point. A lot of y'all aren't focused. And what I mean by that is you're going out here with your digital cameras and you've got a 256 gigabyte card and you're making thousands upon thousands of pictures. And when you get home, you've got 10, maybe 15 decent pictures. That's a whole lot of laziness. And it's almost as if you're going out and you're just kind of hoping and praying that you find something. Now, I don't know if you know this, but that spray and pray method isn't exactly a way to create a cohesive body of work. Now, if that method has worked for you and you do go out here and spray and pray and fill up your memory card and you've got a cohesive body of work, cool. I will shut the hell up after I see your pictures in the comments. But as far as I know, it helps to have a plan, some sort of emotion, some sort of music playing in your head, some sort of point to this. Are you going out here and photographing the color red? Is your aim to photograph Adidas sneakers? What are you trying to tell people? I don't know if you know this, and maybe I'm getting this quote wrong. If you guys remember who actually made this quote, please leave a comment below. Let me know who said this first. But the camera looks both ways. So it helps me understand who's making the picture just as much as it helps me understand what's happening in the picture when I see something that has depth and is cohesive versus when I see just the back of somebody's head or somebody looking down at their cell phone or something like that. There's no focus there. There's no intimacy. There's no connection there. And the lack of focus is very apparent. So I'm sick of seeing it. I mean, again, it's not inspiring at all. And I want to see better. I want to be able to do better. So when I go out here and I photograph, I a lot of times have a beat playing in my head. And I'll start to find people that feel like that music that I'm listening to. Or I'll find people that feel like I feel. If I'm in a grumpy mood, chances are the pictures I make are going to be a little moodier. If I'm happy, there's a good chance that I'm going to recognize and see happier moments. So keep that in mind when you're going out here to photograph. Have some sort of something going on in your head and not just, oh, I've got this camera, let me shoot everything that I see. You know, if you wouldn't print it, if you really wouldn't spend the time, money, and effort printing a picture, is there really a point in making it? And that's just how I feel. The third reason I feel like a lot of you guys suck at street photography and how you can get better is stop being afraid. I remember a few years ago, and if you're from Atlanta, I'm sure you know about the 85 bridge that collapsed, but I was in my car, I was on my way to a gallery exhibition where some of my work was hanging, and decided it would be better for me as a photographer to be late and go photograph whatever it was that was happening that was producing all this smoke. At the time, my daughter was in the back seat. She was about 4, maybe 5 years old. And I look in the rearview mirror and I see the look on her face, and it was clearly fear. And she goes, "Daddy, that's a lot of smoke." I'm like, "Cool. Are you afraid?" She goes, "Yeah." "Do you have your camera with you?" "Yeah." She holds it up and she advances the shutter. I said, "Good. Point your camera at whatever you're afraid of." And in that moment, it kind of struck a chord with me in saying, listen, there's a lot of stuff that makes me uncomfortable. There's a lot of stuff that I don't understand. There's a lot of stuff that I am genuinely afraid of that making pictures really helps shed light on. And that's not necessarily just physically dangerous environments. That is emotional trauma that I've been through. That is mental illness that I'm processing. That is a lot of stuff that I'm afraid of or that makes me uncomfortable that a lot of times I have to process through pictures. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. The camera looks both ways. So if you're making pictures of things that do make you uncomfortable, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to post them on Instagram or share them with anyone. But I think, at least for me, it helped me process a lot of what's happened in my life by making pictures, particularly when a family member has passed away or when I was going through my divorce or anything like that. Pictures, photography in general, really helped me kind of get a grip on what was happening around me. The same way it's helped me translate dangerous situations I've been in. I've had people put guns in my face. I've seen places burn down. I've been in some pretty intense situations, and let me tell you, having a camera in my hand helped immensely when processing a lot of this stuff. And we'll talk about mental health and photography and kind of my journey through that in another video. But let me tell you, if you're afraid of something, point your camera at it. If your pictures aren't good enough, get closer and try to find some focus in what you're photographing. The fourth reason I think a lot of you guys suck at street photography is the idea that you're just plain creepy. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go out here and say it. And what I mean by that is, I saw something in New York, and I've seen it here a few times, that definitely made me uncomfortable. And it's people with huge DSLRs and giant telephoto lenses expecting people not to see you. If you are ducking behind building corners or sitting up somewhere with a telephoto lens like you're running surveillance or whatever, I'm sorry, you look creepy. That's not street photography. If your idea of a street portrait is to sit down the street with a 70 to 200 and make a photograph of someone 3 blocks away because they don't see you, you're creepy. That's not street photography. Figure your life out. I'm not apologizing for that statement at all. I know a lot of you guys have this misconception that as a street photographer, you're supposed to be invisible and you're supposed to be able to make pictures without being noticed or what have you. Listen, if that's your idea of street photography, cool, do you. But having a telephoto lens and photographing people from down the block, to me, is really creepy. Now, there is merit to the idea that people shoot from the hip, and that angle looks cool a lot of times. There are people who are able to just kind of blend in all the way back to Cartier-Bresson, people like Alex Webb. But then there are people like Bruce Gilden who will get in your face and let you know, hey, I see you, I'm gonna make this picture. I'm somewhere in between that. I like for people to know that I'm there. I don't know if you know this, but here I am as a normal person, and here I am as a photographer. The only thing that changed is that I put a giant piece of metal in front of my face, and no camera is going to make you invisible. So what I found that works for me is to kind of counteract that. I don't pretend to be invisible. I will walk right up to somebody and say, hey, I appreciate what you've got going on here. Would you mind if I make a picture? And that's going to be my 5th and final reason you suck at street photography is you're afraid of people. That's not to say that people can't sometimes be scary, but hey, there are 8 billion of us on the planet. I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but it's kind of hard to avoid other people, especially if you're going to go out here, strap up your shoes or lace up your shoes or whatever and throw a camera over your shoulder. But, you know, if you're going to interact with the world, interact with the world. Let people know that you see them. A lot of people take a lot of pride in what they're wearing. And I can tell you definitively if somebody has hot pink or electric blue hair, chances are they know that they have that color hair. If somebody's got tattoos or whatever, they were probably there when the tattoo was happening to them, so you don't have to pretend to not see it. A lot of times people appreciate the idea that you did take the time out to acknowledge what they've got going on. There's something to be said about the idea that you appreciate someone else and that you want to know something more about someone. I photograph people all the time because I don't understand them. I don't know about certain things they've got going on. I don't have a shaved head and a mohawk. I don't have tattoos on my face. I don't wear certain things. I used to wear black nail polish and spike bracelets, believe it or not. And I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was a conversation starter when people would be like, what the hell do you have going on? So I kind of flipped that and I start to do the same thing. If there's somebody who has something that I don't understand, I'll walk right up to them. And let me tell you, if somebody tells you no, they don't want their picture made, that's fine. Someone else will say yes, go about your day. And I guess I'll kind of add this one in there as my last one, but stop taking pictures and start making pictures. And that is to say, involve whoever you're photographing. You know, involve the entire world around you. Stop trying to take from the world and start making with the world. Tell people you like what they're wearing. Get people involved. If someone's breakdancing on the street, they know they're breakdancing on the street. Make a picture. You know, I found that passing out cigarettes to people helps. Having a pack of gum or something like that, could help. But there's no real reason why you should care what I think. However, I care what you guys think. And I care what you guys are creating because whenever I make pictures, I like to be inspired. And a lot of my inspiration comes from the people who have come before me, those greats who have published their coffee table books and have had huge galleries at MoMA or what have you. But also, I like scrolling through Instagram and social media and seeing photographs that matter, photographs that have feeling and depth and drama and tension. Those pictures to me stay in my head. And when I'm out, a lot of times I think about those pictures. And a lot of times I think about the people who made them and maybe what's happening in their lives. So it kind of bums me out when I see people with great potential being lazy or being afraid. So yeah, maybe you suck at street photography. I used to suck at street photography as well, and maybe you still think I suck at street photography. Help me get better. Tell me what I can do better. But again, if you're going to complain about my opinions, drop your name or your Instagram handle or what have you in the comments, and let's have a conversation about it, because I would like to see what you've got going on to where you feel like your pictures are better than mine. And I mean that genuinely, because there's probably something that you're doing that I could really learn something from. So if you got something to say about it, drop a comment below, like and subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going. I'm gonna quit ranting now. I love all of y'all. I appreciate you. Keep snapping pictures, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.